Hello everyone, I'm so happy to be back with you again, and I'd like to thank Dr. Aparnath for this opportunity once again. And today I'm going to talk about a topic which is especially close to my heart, and I just can't stop talking about it really to people that I meet through different walks of life, and whatever be the purpose of a meeting, I just land up communicating this message in one way or the other. And it's about redesign your life. Have you ever thought about your life? That is it a design that you have controlled, or is it a series of just multiple random things that keep happening to you? Now, there are various ideas that I want to communicate to you today really, and I may miss out on some because of the time. We don't have much of time, but let's begin with the idea that you have a choice. You always have a choice, no matter what your situation might be. Most of the times, for most of us, and that's only natural, it's nothing wrong or bad, we tend to think that, oh, I'm stuck. I don't have a choice. Things couldn't have been any different. And I want to tell you that you have a choice. No matter how difficult your situation might seem, no matter how stuck you might seem, that things are not working out, it brings me to the concept of paradigm. And for those of you who have maybe heard this word for the first time, let me tell you, paradigm is what rules our life. And paradigm is our belief. It may or may not be true. And where beliefs are concerned, there is no absolute truth really. Whatever you believe may be completely different from what somebody else believes, and they can believe their belief with just as much intensity, and it's the truth for them. So that's for us to understand that there are so many beliefs in this world, and everybody's believing differently, and everybody's belief is just as true for them, and everybody's functioning by their belief. So by comparison, how is your belief the absolute truth? And that also means that you have a choice. Because it's your belief, you can change it. You can replace it with a belief which is more empowering. And when I say change your belief, I mean about your paradigm. Paradigm is nothing but a belief which may or may not be true, and it's often not true. It is just a belief, what you believe, and you can change it just as easily as you want. Now, why did I say paradigm is what rules our life? Because our brain is hardwired. Now, there's one thing that we know as an organ brain. The other thing is the mind. Mind is something that we have not seen. It's the non-physical manifestation of our brain. But mind is what minds our life all the time, if you may say. And our beliefs, our paradigms, is what goes into making up the mind. Your subconscious mind, yours and mine, has no tool of rejection. That means whatever we feed, whatever belief or paradigm that we feed to our subconscious mind, it will not reject it. It will believe it to be true. That is a very empowering thought, I would say. That means you can feed your mind something, whatever empowers you, it will believe it to be true. So let's start asking questions to ourselves. What are the paradigms in our lives? What are our beliefs that are limiting us? Let's say, if I may ask somebody, what do they earn in a month or in a year? And they give me a figure. Now, why would I ask that? I'm not really interested in how much what people are earning. It's again about paradigm. It just might be their absolute belief that that is what they're worthy and capable of. Is that true? Is that really true? Don't we hear amazing success stories all around us, from rags to riches, of superhuman achievements really? How do those happen? You see, if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right. That means in both the cases you're right. It's just a matter of belief. So let's talk about how we can change our paradigm, our core beliefs about ourselves, because that acts like a GPS. It's like we've travel in an aircraft and the pilot takes care of the aircraft on the runway, the aircraft takes off, it's in the air. Do you think the pilot then sits maneuvering the aircraft all the time? No, the autopilot is on. And the autopilot has been fed with the destination. And I'm giving this example because that is how our mind works. Our mind is the autopilot. So what happens with the aircraft when it is in the air, destination has been fed, let's say there is a strong gust of wind and the aircraft is taken off its path, it starts going somewhere else. What does the autopilot do? It does course correction. It's as if to say, no, you're going wrong. You're supposed to go there, and the course is corrected and the aircraft comes back on track and it finally reaches the destination. The moment it went away from the path that was towards the destination, it did an autocorrect. It corrected the path. That's exactly how our mind functions. And that's exactly what our auto suggestions are. And that's exactly what happens because of our paradigm. Our paradigm, our beliefs are like setting the destination. And the aircraft that we are, we start moving towards that only by default. It's the autopilot mode. And the moment we waver from that, let's say you earn, let's say 50,000 a month, 60,000 a month, whatever. And one particular month, you land up earning a lot more. The GPS will tell you, oh, that's not what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to come back on track. Somewhere or the other, you will end up jeopardizing that and coming back on track because autopilot comes back on track and takes you to the destination which has been fed. Now to go to a different destination, you will have to start with feeding a different destination. And that means your paradigms will have to be different. So start evaluating what are your core beliefs. Do you really believe you deserve to do better, to get the promotion, to get that good relationship in your life, to be assertive, to maybe buy something big, or whatever your goals might be? Do you really believe that? The moment you start really believing that is the time when you would have set the autopilot for a different destination. So you have to work on your beliefs. Now, how does one work on beliefs? Here, I'd like to give you a very powerful tool which I myself use. And let me tell you, as I talk to you, this is an inspiration for me itself. Again, this talk by itself, because I have done all of this, and we all have difficult situations in our lives. I too have difficult situations. And as I talk to you, I'm reminded of the powerful tools that I have used in the past, that I'm reminded of again, and I'm going to use all over again. And I would advise or strongly suggest that you also use. Now, about beliefs. It starts with your spoken words, really. Spoken words have power. Well, thoughts have power. They are quite powerful. More than that, your spoken words have power. So if you were to ask me from today's session, what is that one thing that I can do to redesign my life? I would say, watch what you talk about yourself and about your life. Do you ever find yourself saying like, oh my God, why does this happen to me always? Thought converted into words become very powerful. And that strengthens your paradigm and your destination is set. That is where your life will go. Say empowering things about yourself. Say things like maybe, oh, I'm getting better and stronger every day. It may seem like a lie in the beginning, but when you say that and attach emotion to it, it starts becoming your reality. You start believing it. You start shifting your paradigm, and hence you start changing your destination. So mind what you say, right? You can say things like, okay, I radiate abundance and love, and that is what comes back to me. And say that with emotion. And I challenge you, if you do that for a week or even lesser for that matter, you will start seeing results. And I would challenge that you would start seeing results that very day. I do it all the time and it works for me all the time. So what have we talked about today already? We have talked about that you always have a choice. And how do you know that you have a choice? Because you look around, people choose different things all the time. So you can choose a different belief for yourself. We talked about paradigm already. Paradigm is like the autopilot, with the destination set. Whatever is your paradigm will fix your destination, and your autopilot will automatically take you there. Even if you go maybe a little away, maybe for better of course, it will bring you back to that, to your belief system, to your paradigm, and you will again keep getting the same results over and over again. And then I talked about how do you change your beliefs. I said the one most powerful thing that you can do is start talking empowering things about yourself and your life. Anytime you find yourself cribbing, criticizing, feeling bad and talking how sad you are or how difficult things are, check yourself right there. Replace it with a positive thought and positive words immediately. You will start redesigning your life. And I'm telling you a very simple method right now. There are multiple layers of course, understanding yourself, your conditionings, and etc. Now also, today's session I would give you another tool that you can use. Now, when you choose the things that you want in your life, I would tell you to do a rapid goal setting for yourself. It's not possible for us to do it during this session. I would have loved to do it with you. However, what do you do? Give yourself, let's say, 5 minutes. And I say rapid goal setting. So, let's say you're talking about personal development. You want to focus on your personal development. Maybe you want to take up that singing class that you never did, dance class that you never did. Maybe travel somewhere that you've been wanting for a long time. Maybe work on your relationships or make some financial investments, etc. It could be anything. Or just taking out me time for that matter. So, if your goal is about your personal development and we get into rapid goal setting, you will give yourself 5 minutes. You'll take a pen and paper and you will write non-stop for 5 minutes. Set the stopwatch for 5 minutes. You will not stop till the time is not over. Write random things that come to your mind. And trust me, those 5 minutes would be less for you. Every time that I've done this, people say, oh my God, we need more time. The list is endless. And that itself is a realization that, oh, there's so many things that maybe we have not even looked into that we really wanted to. Now you would have a long list by the end of 5 minutes. So you have to write non-stop, without thinking, random things that come to your mind that you want to do for yourself. After that, I want you to set timelines. Because a goal is nothing but a dream with a deadline. So you would see which of those you would want to, you would love for them to come true within 1 year. Then others within 3 years. Which are those that you would want or love to come true, let's say in 5 years and 10 years subsequently. Okay, now amongst them, now you would have 1 year dreams, 3 years, 5 years and 10 years. You're doing your rapid goal setting. Now let's say we pick up only the first 1 year dreams that you have. There will be multiple of those. You would pick up the top 3 that you must have. You would desperately want them to come true within the first 1 year. You would write them down on a separate paper. And I would want you to write down 2 lines maybe for every dream as to why you want that dream so desperately to come true. You know what happens when you write the why? You give a reason to your brain. And the moment you give a reason to your brain is hardwired to start looking for ways to make it come true. Alright, so you've done your rapid goal setting, 5 minutes non-stop writing, you've got a list, then you set a deadline, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years. We pick up the 1 year goals or dreams, pick up the top 3 ones that you desperately want, you write down the reason for those. Alright, you give the reason to your brain. And then the magic part really. After you've written down the reason, you would do that one small action that you can do towards coming closer to that dream that you can do immediately or within the 24 hours. Okay? Do you understand that? That means maybe you had some financial goals and you got those top 3 things. Maybe you'll just pick up the phone and call up somebody who knows about those things. Or maybe you'll look up on the Google. You'll talk to a friend about it. Maybe you'll visit the bank. You'll meet a financial investor, set an appointment with a financial investor. Any one small thing that brings you closer to your dream. Now it doesn't have to be this big thing about, oh, I will do it, how will I do it? We don't think about that. When you start driving, whenever you start driving, you can only see the next few feet, right? You don't stop. You can only see the next few feet, and you go across those next few feet. And that's when the next other few feet will appear to you. And that is what I'm telling you. For your goals, don't wait for that someday. There is no day called someday in a week. It's only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. So that someday will never come. It's today. So you do a rapid goal setting, and ultimately when you have those 3 topmost things for you, you are going to do that one thing that you can do immediately or within the 24 hours. All right, now that will bring you closer. So here itself I have kind of encapsulated a small journey for you, if you may see. You start with challenging your paradigms. You start with replacing your disempowering paradigms with empowering paradigms. So you may have a belief like, I'm not educated enough, or maybe I'm too old to start that, or I don't know the financial background, whether I can. You change all of that. It may seem untrue at that point of time, but remember the GPS, remember the autopilot. When you give a reason, when you give a goal, your brain starts looking for ways to make that come true. So we start with shifting your paradigm. Then you start working on your beliefs by changing your words, because spoken words have powers. And then you do a rapid goal setting. And by the end of it, you would have your topmost 3 dreams that you desperately want to come true. And by the end of that, you would have taken that one small action that takes you closer to your goal. So here itself is a small journey that you can try out right now, immediately, and start finding results in the coming 1 week or even 2 to 3 days. All right. So besides that, another pointer that I would like to give to you today about redesigning your life is the 80-20 rule. It's known as the Pareto's principle. We tend to spend 80% of our time, energy, effort on things that will give us just 20% of the results. And we spend only 20% of our time, energy on things that can give us actually 80% of the results. So here again, I want you to pause, analyze what are the things you're spending time on. Are they in the 20% or the 80%? Are they going to give you 20% of the result or 80% of the result? So here again, remember, you have a choice. Learn to say no. All right? Only when you say no to things that take away a lot of your time unnecessarily, will you have the time to say yes to things that are necessary for you, for your growth, for your development, for redesigning your life. And trust me, life goes on. Even if you don't do something for somebody that somebody has been taking up a lot of your time, if you say a no there, they'll find a way of doing that thing without you. Make time for yourself. Make time for yourself. Or it's just almost like saying to have more, you have to be more. And to be more, you'll have to spend more time with yourself. You'll have to fill up yourself with a lot of wonderful things, spend a lot of time and focus on yourself. So be aware of the 80-20 principle. Where is your maximum time, energy going, effort going? Are those activities going to give you 20% of the result or 80% of the result? Cut out those things that will lead you to 20%. Focus on things that will give you 80% result. Learn to say no so that you have time, space to say yes to the correct things. So I think that's about it that I'll be able to maybe communicate to you today with a given short span of time. So maybe I'll go into questions now. All right. Neha says hi. Hi Neha. No question there. Nikita says, are there any books that I can read to help me redefine my life? Oh my God, Nikita, I can't even begin to tell you the number of books that you can read. It's a constant journey. And in today's time and age, we find it difficult to maybe spend so much of time if you're not a reader. There's so much of content available on YouTube. So start reading books if you want by Bob Proctor. The Secret is much talked about, you know. So it's an easy read also, though very true. You can do that. Even Tony Robbins for that matter, Louise Hay, these are all very simple, good reads. And if you want some heavier reads which will require much more contemplation, maybe Gary Zukav you can read, The Seat of Soul, and many more. So, and what I'm saying, let me not confuse you, there are endless. Just start the journey. All right, remember, When you drive, you can see only the first few feet, but you don't stop. Okay, you take that journey and you keep discovering. So a lot of content on YouTube. Start looking, start reading. It's a beautiful, empowering journey. Then Anchal has asking me, life gives you many expected turns, or is it unexpected? I think. Do we have to constantly redesign our lives according to the situation life throws at us? Anchal, absolutely. That's what my belief is. Absolutely. You see, through all my reading and learning, what I have come to believe, which India has often talked about, often is the wrong word, forever talked about, and Hinduism and other religions also talk about it so much. Now even the West, other countries have been talking about it. It's about the soul, the journey of the soul. And when I came to know and I realized that, oh my goodness, I'm really a soul, and this is a part that I'm playing now. I have lived before, I will live later. It was a very liberating thought for me. Try contemplating that thought, that you're just a soul and you're here to make a journey, so that makes it easier for you to readjust and not hold on to things. And when you keep changing, remember all of those examples about a tree and the grass. The grass, when there are strong winds, doesn't get uprooted. It just bends. And the tree falls over. It's about flexibility, right? There is Veer who's saying hi. Hi Veer, no question here. Weber, hi, thanks for this session. You're most welcome. I wish I could have shared a lot more. Sneha says, how to evaluate if I start to redesigning my life? I'm not sure if I get your question. How to evaluate? Alright, so maybe if I go as per my understanding, start evaluating, are you getting the results that you really wanted? Right, that's a big question to ask. Is your life absolutely a dream come true today? If not, then there is room for redesigning. And sky is the limit. Any belief can be yours. I also like to give the example that we live in a universe. We share a universe, right? We have the same air and facilities which the universe has to offer, all the energies and everything. So when you look at people who are hugely successful, I like to believe that the resources that they have used are present around me also. And somehow they have been able to reach to those resources, and I have not been, in case. But they are available. So there is one gap. How to fill up that gap is what I talked about today. Any belief can be yours. Let it be an empowering belief. Change the way you talk about yourself, about your life. Make up empowering beliefs. Alright? And a lot more, of course. Start reading, looking up things. Upendra Sharma says, nice. Thank you. Neha over here, can you throw light on the affirmative sentences I can use as I'm shifting gears in career? Wow, I love affirmations. You know what the beautiful thing about affirmations, Neha? Basically what affirmations, to everybody, let me say, means a saying yes. Well, we are saying yes all the time. The thing is, are you saying yes to things that make you stronger, or are you saying yes to things that make you weaker? So as you're changing gears, maybe a few affirmations that you can say, Neha, for yourself. And it's not just the words, it's the feelings that you have to associate. So Neha, you can say something like, oh, I'm very well appreciated and well compensated in every work that I do. My dream job, I'm in my dream job, which validates me and compensates me, and all of those things. You can actually write down those things and say them every day. So in fact, when I go for my walk, I look like one crazy person because I don't listen to music like other people. I am doing my affirmations, and affirmations are to be spoken aloud. So I'm this crazy woman who's walking and talking to herself, but that empowers me, and that has worked for me greatly. Okay, I think Neil also says hi, and besides that, I think that's it. Neha, thank you so much. You're most welcome, Neha. Keep exploring. I think that's it. We have all the questions over here that I have answered. Keep asking me questions if you'd like on this topic, and I'll just share what I have experienced, and hopefully that'll help you empower yourself and redesign your life. Thank you so much for being with me today.